The year is 2100, and people can now go on vacation through a virtual reality machine. The company Immersion, based out of Colorado, has created robots that someone can control using a virtual reality headset. All of the bots are fairly similar in look, except the head is completely customized to look like the actual person. Once the person puts the headset on, they are in full control of the bot. They can touch, taste, smell, see, and feel just like they would normally. The difference between a robot and a person is the robot doesn't have to eat because the robot just runs on a battery that lasts for multiple days depending on the activities you do with it. Also, while the person is in control of the robot, they are hooked up to an IV and are being monitored by workers to ensure that they are in a stable condition as well. David lives in Colorado with his parents, while his brother Jimmy has recently moved to Peru after graduating from college. It has been a few months since they have seen each other, but neither of them has time to take a week or so vacation to see each other. It just so happens that an immersion station was recently built in Lima, Peru. While FaceTiming, the two of them decide that David should make a trip to Peru. Since there are immersion stations in both locations, they decide to try out a virtual vacation instead of having David fly to Peru. They decide on the upcoming weekend, and David immediately goes to Immersion's website to set up his trip. After picking his destination, he must have his face scanned in order to have the bot look like him. Once the order is received at the Immersion factory in Peru, a bot that is already complete besides the face is picked up and moved to one of the customization rooms. David's face has been scanned and is now 3D printed onto the bot itself. The following night, David arrives at the Immersion station in Colorado and is put into his own room. He is given an IV plus a few other things so he can be monitored to make sure everything goes smoothly. Once everything is set up, he is able to put on the virtual reality headset and begin his trip to Peru. David now wakes up in Peru and has to go through a series of tests to ensure that the robot is performing properly. After he passes all the tests, he is free to leave the station and meets Jimmy out front. They both recognize each other and are excited to begin their trip. Jimmy surprises David with an excursion of Machu Picchu, one of the top tourist attractions in Peru. The two arrive at the meeting place for the tour group. They both check in and then wait around to get on the bus to go to the bottom of the mountain. The tour guide tells everyone to load up and everyone who is going on the tour boards the bus. David and Jimmy end up sitting next to two girls and beginning chatting with them. As the conversation goes on, Jimmy brings up the fact that David is actually in a virtual reality headset back in Colorado. This is one of the new immersion robots he is controlling. The girls are fascinated and ask David multiple questions about it. The group arrives at the bottom of Machu Picchu and the tour guide tells everyone to get off the bus. Before the hike begins, the tour guide tells everyone to stay with the group or they will get left behind. As the hike goes on, David and Jimmy are fascinated with the scenery and constantly stopping to check different things out and enjoy the sights. The two of them both agree that they could stay here forever. Then, both of them notice a mountain peak and want to go there, but the tour guide says the path they're going to take won't go to that peak. Being the two adventurous brothers that they are, David and Jimmy decide to fall off the back of the pack and head for the peak. After a couple hours of hiking, David and Jimmy finally reach the peak and are beginning to enjoy the view. As they look around, Jimmy notices the tour group loading into the bus, and both brothers begin to panic and try to yell for the van to wait, but there is no chance of them being heard. The two of them continue to yell as they watch the bus drive away. Now their only way down is to walk, but they will never make it down before dark. Jimmy begins to get tired, and neither of them have any more food to eat or water to drink. Since David is in control of the robot, he still feels fine and tells Jimmy to rest a while, and he tries to go find a way for both of them to get down. After walking around for a while, David walks over a hill and sees a group of llamas. Jimmy is back waiting for David and is starting to get a little worried because it has been a while and they need to get off the mountain. All of a sudden, David comes out of nowhere riding a llama and has another one following. Jimmy gets on the other llama and they begin to ride down the mountain. On their way down, they see the bus in the distance and eventually catch up to it. As they go past, the two girls who they met on the ride up wave to them as they go by. They eventually reach the location where they got to the bus. The two then return to the immersion station, take a picture with each other, and say their goodbyes. David returns the robot to the immersion station in Peru and wakes back up in Colorado. The next day, David meets his friend Ben at the local coffee shop and can't wait to tell him the adventure him and Jimmy had on Machu Picchu.